Next requirement is a company-wide operation here. So company wants to compute total amount of payment made to employees, regardless of the fact that that employee is hourly employee or salaried employee. Okay, so let's actually take care of that part. So here we are going to create a company test. So here I'm going to write a new class, company test. So in company test, what we want to do is, let's write the test code. So should compute total payment amount for all employees. Okay, so what we need to do in this case is we are going to create the company object, company new company. Okay, all right, so we're going to create the company class at this time. So create the company class. So I have this company class right here. So what we want to test is we want to actually call compute total payment amount. Okay, so company compute total payment amount method. Okay, and this one should be let's actually assert that this is actually just $10. Okay, assert that, and close to $100, actually $100, and delta is 01. Okay, and import. Okay, so we need to have this compute total payment amount method in the company class. So let's select the this guy. Okay, so for now, let's actually just return. So we have to change this one to double. Let's just change to 100 to just get by the testing. So that is the TDD principle. We actually, make simplest possible changes to get the green. Okay, so again, this sometimes Eclipse Infinite test is a little bit slow, so you can just save the change. Okay, make a change, and then it detected. All right, so it it actually figures out that it's $100 and it worked fine. And of course, this is probably not right. So at this point, we are going to actually refactor the code. So basically, company should have the list of employees, right? So private list employee type and employees, and so we're going to actually create the new array list. Okay, and import the list type, and here basically what we need to do is we are going to actually compute. So here double total payment amount equal 0.0, and then you're gonna probably have a for loop. Okay, for employee, and employees, and here we are going to total. We're going to actually keep adding the employee, and we need to actually compute this is the problem here, right? So what we want to do is, we want to actually call a single method, okay, on an employee class rather than hourly employee or the salaried employee. Okay, so what we need to do at this point is that we need to actually refactor the code. Okay, we need to refactor the code so that the employee, the computational payment should be kind of visible in employee class level, which we can do with the abstract method. And then hourly employee and salary employee is going to be implementation of the abstract method. Then we should be able to actually use it, right? So at this point, because we need to make a changes to existing code, we do not want to actually deal with this one for now. So we're going to just, comment this guy out, and let's actually comment this guy. We'll deal with this one later on. Okay. The reason is, again, as I said, because we need to actually refactor the code. We want to actually make sure we are refactoring with a testing code that all is succeeding. So what we need to do is, in employee class, we want to have the compute monthly payments. If you take a look at the hourly employee, we have compute monthly payment implementation, and salary employee the same thing. Okay, so what we can do is that we can actually have this employee class have an abstract method. So we're going to actually have this method to be abstracted into you know what? Now this is actually a challenge. So here we have the compute monthly payment. In this case, is actually receiving the number of hours worked. However, salaried employee doesn't, right? Yet we want to have this guy to be extracted into abstract method in the employee class. Okay, so what we need to do in this case is that for employee class, the hourly employee. So we do not want to have this one. We might in fact have an overloaded method. And in that case. So we are going to have another overloaded method, public double, and sorry, why don't I just copy this guy? Delete, and here we want to have another method, something like this. Okay. And then we need to actually have this one to be settable. So this is the time that we need to have this guy to be, in fact, have a private field, private int, and number of hours worked. Okay. Then we need to have a setter method. So in case you're actually calling this guy, we need to actually set number of hours worked before you're calling this guy, right? Otherwise, it's going to be set to 0. So we need to have setter method. Okay. Alt Shift S, and then we are going to generate the getters and setters, and the number of hours. Yeah. So basically, we need number of hours worked setter method only. So we now have a setter method. Okay. So let's make sure everything is working fine still. Okay. Now when we actually test the hourly employee, we want to actually test this guy as well. So let's actually take a look at the hourly employee. So here we have hourly employee here. So hourly employee class. Hourly employee. I want an hourly employee test. Okay, so here we go. All right. So this is the case that we are actually, passing number of hours, right? So we're gonna actually have another testing method, and for the sake of the should compute monthly payment for hourly employee, I'll just say 2. Okay. And this time, we're gonna actually call this guy, and before that, we are going to have setter method, hourly employee, and set number of hours, and this one again we are going to actually use a 10, and then these things all should work fine. Okay, so we have created the compute monthly payment for hourly, and we also have a salary. So we're going to actually go back to our goal of refactoring so that compute monthly payment is an abstract method in employee class. Okay, since we have a testing code, we can actually make changes. Okay, so we are going to actually go to the employee, and we are going to actually have this method. I'm going to actually have this method to be abstracted in employee class. Okay, so here it should be public abstract and like this. And then because it's an abstract method, we need to have public abstract. So we made the employee class an abstract. Okay. Now we have an issue. Why it does say, okay, public. This method requires a body instead of abstract. Yeah, why it doesn't? It looks good to me. Public abstract. Oh, abstract. Okay, public abstract. Okay. Now, if you take a look at this guy, now we have actually some testing failure. Employee test. Okay. Now, because the employee is an abstract class, we cannot create employee object like this. Now, we actually testing our employee and as well as the salary employee test. So this employee test is no longer needed. So I can just kind of remove this guy. Okay. All right. So that should be okay. All right. So everything is cool. So I made sure the testing is still successful. Okay. All right, so now we can actually go back to our company class. If you go to company class here, okay, and let's actually get back to company test class here as well. So let's maximize it here. So now, yeah, so I want to have a company test class here. Okay, so we're going to actually uncomment this guy, and we're going to actually uncomment this guy. So now we should be able to call here employee because, compute monthly payment is an abstract method. I should be able to call like this, right? And and then we have to return and total payment amount, okay? And this one, yeah, so let's save the changes. Okay, so something failed, so let's actually see what has failed. Okay, so let's actually run the test here. I'll shift X and T. So this one has failed. Should compute total payment amount to all employees. Oh, okay. So the expected $100 but return 00. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because we have not actually added any employee here, right? Okay, so it is actually a testing logic failure. So if you actually make this one as a 0, let's actually make sure that works, and that is successful. All right, so now we're gonna actually add employee to the company. So we're gonna actually have company. Yeah, so let's create the employee. Employee 1, and let's create the hourly employee and employee ID 1, and first name Sang, last name Shin, and hourly rate $10. Okay, so here we need to actually call the setter method, employee 1 set number of hours. Oh, employee 1 set. Oh, yeah, hourly employee. We should have actually setter method, right? Because we actually call it employee. Yeah. So in this case, we're gonna actually have hourly employee. Okay, and then we should have a setter method, set number of hours. We'll actually have a 10. Okay, and then we'll have another hourly employee here. We're gonna just call it employee number 2, and his rate is $5. And saying 2 really doesn't matter. Okay, and then he worked on the 10 hours as well. So then let's actually create the salary employee, employee, salary employee. I'm going to just have just one salary employee. So new salary employee, and employee ID is 3. So we'll actually have this one 2, and first name Sang 3, last name Sang Shin 3. Our monthly salary is $10,000. Okay, so we need to add these employees to the company employee list, right? Okay, so we are gonna have a company, and we need to have a get. Oh, so it doesn't have a getter method, so we need to create a getter method. So go to company, and we need to have a getter method. So here we're going to create the generate the getter. We don't need a setter, so we're going to just have a getter method here. So here company get employees, and then we're going to add employee 1 here, and then we're going to add employee 2, and then another employee 3. Okay, and let's save the change, and of course it will employee, salaried employee. Okay, let's save the change, and it will fail here because the value certainly is probably not correct. Okay, so let's actually run this guy, and we'll just take the value as it should be 10,150. Yeah, that makes sense. The hourly employee should have $150 together, and then the salary employee is 10,000, so it should be 10,050, 10,150, and save the change, and that worked fine. Okay. All right, so we were able to actually compute the total payment as well, and in this case, again, this is another reason that the method of computing this is in fact the the method in the subclass rather than composition, and worked out pretty well in this case as well. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna let you finish up to this point. So if you go to readme.txt file, we just finished this up to this point, company-wide operation.